All right, we're back.
Yeah, baby.
We're braving the storm,
Yeah, we're battening down the old hatches.
you know, seeing what Irma's going to do, seeing if there's anything to it or not. Well, I'm not saying there's nothing to it. If you were in Florida, you get hit, but as far as we are from the line, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. I was talking to J Rad. I'm not quite sure where the second coming stuff is coming from, but again, I mean, considering
Lord.
where we are, I don't know if you guys know where we are. We're in West Georgia, pretty close to the state line, out of the Alabama state line. So
Yeah.
people are
Northwest Georgia.
Yeah, thank you, brother. It frustrates me simply because people talk about it. Florida, that junk is real. What people in Florida are dealing with is real, man.
Yeah.
Let's just hold out hope that a lot of people got here and cool offers like
And I don't know if you have to deal with it where you live, wherever you are, but if you're down here in the southeast, one of the things that you'll be able to relate to is one of the reasons why Katrina was such a big deal that it was a few years ago. Is people hear this every year that the world's going to end and this storm's going to blow your whole house down and everything, this, that, and the other. And so after hearing that our whole lives, the people in New Orleans were like, well, this is the 1,000th time we've heard it, and nothing's ever really been as bad as they said it was going to. And then that one was the one. And then, people are losing their mind over this one, but we'll just have to wait and see.
yeah, political ineptitude or the ineptitude of politicians was a big problem with Katrina because the misnomer
That's top of the list.
the misnomer about Katrina is that it was just this, oh my God, Jesus Christ storm. It really wasn't. I asked people from New Orleans, as far as the storms and the power, it really wasn't.
Hits.
It really wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
What was bad was that the deterrent fell apart. So that was the hugest problem with Katrina because they were talking the other day about Hurricane Irma's coming to Florida and it looks like it might be as bad as Andrew. I'm like, Andrew? You mean the one that nobody talked about for 10 years? Because Hurricane Andrew was a big old MFer.
Yeah.
That sucker
Yeah.
was. I remember Hugo from when we were little kids.
Hugo was
and
good.
Andrew obviously, but A was the first one of the season, and that was a big old piece of crap.
Heck yeah.
But and it obviously it's not that Katrina wasn't bad. It's just that Katrina wasn't that bad. The ridiculousness is what was bad. But I'm totally with Jared. We've discussed that for years. Is like I'm a huge fan of media culpability. Nobody ever talks about that. It's funny we can talk about how much we hate the media now, but nobody ever wants to call them on the carpet. My thing is I want to know who at ESPN knew what when as far as Jerry Sandusky is concerned. Because if you're telling me you just magically turned that rock over right in time to put it in line with the record, the wins record, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And that's my other big one is what's the media culpability or the meteorological culpability for Katrina? Because like Jared said, man, especially New Orleans, the Gulf period, decades and decades and decades. This is the one. This is the one, guys. How come you didn't get up there and shore up them walls for the 50 years you had to do? It's very frustrating stuff, man. But yeah, I don't mean to say that people here are making me frustrated, but I just don't like piggybacking on somebody else's misery. It's a real dangerous thing for those guys. I don't think we should act like it's coming forth.
It's plenty of excuses to raise the price of gas,
Yeah.
and any excuse to do it, they gonna do it. So man, that's all that it ever is around here. Is like, man, come on.
Yeah, there's a rain cloud in the Gulf of Mexico. Gas
Oh,
prices
shut the
go
pipes
up.
down.
Oh man, you gotta be concerned. Oh, what the heck is that dang thing called?
The
man?
the pipeline.
Dadgummit, I should remember the name of it, but it is shot right out of my head. Keystone. The Keystone Pipeline. That's all we ever. I mean, if it's a rainy day, if it's less than 97 degrees in Guadalajara, Keystone's going to have to
brother.
go offline, baby. You're going to have to pay a lot for your gas.
Are you sure? You sure we really need to raise the price? I don't know about that,
I
brother.
don't know about that, brother.
I don't know about that. Sure. We've had some good weather for a couple of days. You sure we can't lower the price? Oh.
I like the fact that we're talking about the Keystone Pipeline and Florida and the Hulk Hogan voice. The idea of Hulk making all Florida decisions is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know about that, brother.
I don't know about that, brother.
Man, took last week off just because I straight up got my days mixed up. We usually do this on Sunday evenings, and I thought that's when the Georgia Tech Tennessee game was. Turns out it was the next day.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my bad as far as that goes.
We got stretched. I'm happy to say we got stretched, and here's why. Because I heard so much crap from. I have wonderful Georgia friends, and then my cousin's another one of them. People just giving, oh man, you feel to be the bridesmaids. Alabama's gonna open that building. I'm like, yeah, we're still getting in there before you, punk.
Yeah,
but the thing
yeah.
is, man, what you have to remember also is this, man.
It does kind of. I mean, for Georgia Tech, I mean that's literally down the street.
Yeah, it's not far. I mean,
From where they play.
you can like basically stand outside of the just lean your head over. You'll see it. It's right over there, man. It really is. Jared's right, man. It's one of those things where a lot of visitors that come to I don't think they know. I don't think they quite get it because I think people they look at like if you watch Pittsburgh play, Pitt's fun. I like those guys, but they play at Hines. So like Tech is a college stadium with a downtown skyline. Well, Pittsburgh's it's not a college stadium. That is off campus. That is for the Steelers. It's a very weird
Not
place.
the same thing.
It's very, very different because you walk outside and you're on a college campus. You're on a college campus. You go 3 blocks, city. I mean, it's right there. It's very.
Downtown,
It is straight up
gets.
downtown. It varies, and it's interesting because Georgia State is too. But Georgia,
Techwood.
yeah, they don't call it that for nothing.
Techwood is a rough part of town, and it is right there at campus.
It's very weird. 78, rough part of town, fantastic college campus, metropolitan Atlanta. It's just depends on which way you walk.
Yeah.
My cousin and I were discussing that because he was like, well, where does this go? And I was like, well, back this way this is pretty rough, and then over here because a lot of the Techwood stuff it got redone for the Olympics, and it's beautiful. I mean, they have really the people that moved in there took care of it. It's over by the used to be Tech and Georgia State housing. Now it's just Tech housing because Georgia State just doesn't have very many. It's a commuter school, Georgia State, because Georgia State's right downtown too, but you'd never know. It doesn't look like a college. It looks like office buildings.
Business stuff.
Yeah, and it's cool. It looks like what you'd expect a downtown college to look like.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the rough part of town, and then this is this, and this is that, and la-di-da. And he looked over, like, at the direction towards 78, and he's like, oh, that's not so bad. I said, nah. And he's like, man, he said, go to USC. You want to see a rough part of town at a college campus? Southern Cal. I said, really? And he's like, man, Southern California. He said, first things first, it and UCLA are right across the street from each other. And he says, UCLA is a Hollywood backlight. It just doesn't even look real. It's so pretty. You go across the street to USC, and it's like the world's most perfect gated community because the college is beautiful and the school is lovely and the campus is wonderful. It's LA. Everybody's in a good mood. Hey, man, it's all right. But, man, you get outside the gates.
Compton.
You need to know where you are. You really do. Yeah, because I don't know if we ever talked about that. The whole people, they get all huffy about which one's the real USC, which, believe me, only South Carolina fans try to make that argument because there's one of them been called USC since the 20s. But you notice now, whenever you see the hats and the shirts and all that, it's literally just SC. They dropped the U from Southern Cal, and that's why. Because when you hear about South Central Los Angeles, that's where that school is. So it's a little double meaning thing. Pretty cool. Speaking of which, I watched those guys on Saturday night, and I love the Pac-12, so I enjoy it. Man, it was good. It was real good. But with Stanford being the top defense out there that's not USC, you might see a lot of points scored. But those boys can play. SC can. They're very, very good.
And my biggest takeaway from the Tennessee Georgia Tech game is how much time does Paul Johnson have on his contract, and is he trying to get fired? Just in that, why go for 2 at that point?
Do you really want the answer, or do you want to just hypothesize?
I just that was my first thought. Was like, is this dude trying to just be either murdered or fired one?
Here's why you go for 2. In 2009, when Wake Forest came to town, 09's the ACC championship year too. Same situation, where you go to overtime, Wake Forest scores, kick the extra point, you score, you have a shot to win or to lose.
Yeah.
Tennessee. And this is what was funny. My buddy Dina, who hooked me up with this, by the way. See, I'm not an alumnus of Georgia Southern, but she is. So she hooked me up with my beer koozie. And
Statesboro
yeah, baby. I want to make sure that I give Dina proper love for hooking me up. Thank you, Dina. I appreciate it. Dina and Kay were in town because they're Tennessee. Dina's is Georgia Southern. That's her religion.
Yeah.
Tennessee football, she's a fan of.
Yeah.
Kay graduated from Tennessee. They're huge fans. They came down. And with it being Dragon Con and all that crap, stayed with us because there's nowhere
Might as well.
there's no room. So
Yeah.
it's like cool. So that worked out good.
We're close enough. You can do that.
Absolutely, man. So it worked out okay. Here's the thing about Paul Johnson. Me and Paul go way the hell back, like way before he got to Tech, because he was the DC at Navy.
Speaking as Georgia Southern.
Who I love. Oh yeah, we will definitely get there. He was the DC at Navy for Charlie Weatherby. Then he was the head coach at Georgia Southern, won 2 national championships. And I said championships because at the 1AA level, they actually count. Because you have to get in a real playoff and play real playoff teams. And then when they give you the trophy at the end of the year, guess what 4 letters are on it? N, C, and A twice. Now, I appreciate the NCAA's joke. But if the governing body of your sport doesn't recognize your national championship, it ain't much of a championship. That is the greatest trivia question of all time, by the way. If you ever want to win a lot of money, ask people who holds the NCAA record for Division I college football national championships. No one gets it right ever, because all the ones Notre Dame won, and all the ones Alabama won, and all the ones USC won, and all the ones the 4 that Georgia Tech won. The NCAA does not recognize a single one of those. They don't acknowledge bowl games. They don't count. None of that stuff counts. But NCAA Division I AA, those do count. Georgia Southern is the answer with 6. You can win a lot of money if you can convince people you're right. Anyhow, getting very sidetracked. Me and Paul go way back. Here's the deal. The Wake Forest game I mentioned was very, very much like the Tennessee game. The reason you go, and that's the whole thing, is we both knew as soon as it got to 42-35, I told everybody in our section, if we get to 41, we're winning or we're losing.
Yeah.
He's just going to do it.
Yeah.
And here's why. First things first, you are obviously the underdog in the game against Tennessee. Because now all of a sudden it's very funny. That's all I've heard is, oh, man, that Tech blow that game. Can't believe Tech lost that game. Really? Because, boy, you couldn't find anybody that would give them a chance before they kicked off.
Heck yeah.
But the reason you
I'm not trying to give them crap for losing. I was glad that they were there at the end, but I was just like, why now?
I'll tell you why. If I remember right. I might have the math on this wrong. If I remember correctly, the first time the University of Tennessee had a lead in that entire game was the second overtime. Tennessee was behind and behind and behind and behind and behind. So Tech's hanging around, Tech's out front, Tech leads, Tech's going. The second University of Tennessee takes a lead in that game, momentum's theirs.
Yeah.
If you are an underdog and you're playing somebody who has completely taken the momentum and you still have the opportunity to beat him, you take that shot. I loved it because it's way better than just going on and on and on and on and on. Because I hate college overtime anyway, and I can fix it. Here's the thing with college overtime. What's the big problem with it? Everybody knows what you're going to do if you win the toss. Because, well, if you defend first, then you know what you got to do.
Why start at the 20?
Here's the thing. The 25 thing is okay with me. Just get rid of first downs.
Okay.
Yeah, you got 4 plays, and then you got to make a decision. That's it. Because I'm with you. 25 is okay, but no first downs. That'd be awesome. But here's my thing that you do. If you want to play defense first, you do not get to kick anything, ever. Special teams are eliminated, period. So if you get a turnover or if you get a stop, you got to get 6 points because you gave up your special teams unit. That way, at least there's something to think about and something to choose. The other thing is this, and this will never happen because we love the advertisements. We like running and over, and we love stats too. And I can't believe overtime stats count. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of in my life. But if you got a shot to win, you have to take it. You have to, and that's what Jono does. Because Jono apparently hates overtime too. But that's the logic behind it. I loved it. I thought it was great, and just because I'm like, we ain't going to no third overtime. We won't do it because that's just stupid.
You're getting to the point where they start making you go for 2 anyway. So I was just like, well, why not get to that point?
Because the momentum was gone, man. Yeah. Momentum was completely gone. And also, I'm just not big on playing forever. If you, as what happened when Tech completely lost the lead, Tennessee had everything. And you still got a chance to win, boy, you take that shot. You take that shot every single time. I would. And Paul's like that. He's going to do it anyway. But that's the reason he does it, is because, man, momentum is a real thing. Because then what happens? You go out and start the thing over again. They get a turnover, kick a field goal, and beat. So what? I mean, the odds of getting that 2-point conversion are a hell of a lot better than getting the ball and scoring again and making 2 and stopping Tennessee. It's just better, you know? Yes. I mean, it's easy. It's one of those things. I've said this, again, since 2009. When they went for the win against Wake Forest. Well, you don't think it was a good idea because it worked. No, I thought it was a good idea because I think it's a good idea. Well, this time it didn't work, and I still think it was a good idea. Momentum is a real thing, and when you're an underdog, as Georgia Tech often is, especially in terms of athleticism, you got a chance to win. You take it.
Yeah.
That's that. It's crazy. But no, Jono's contract is pretty doggone good. He's doing well.
He was,
the fan base hate him, but
yeah.
to hell with them. I love him. I think he's great. He's only won 67% of his freaking games, man. But you know,
That's saying something, man.
if you're not Nick Saban. Yeah, well, considering that those,
he's not a looker.
considering the 67%,
not a pretty man.
considering the 67% of those games are at Navy and Georgia Tech, hell yeah! Paul Johnson at Navy is the most impressive coaching gig you will ever see.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody should ever have been able to do what he did at Navy, and it's weird because Navy's still doing it. Put him in place and got Kenny up there, and I really thought Kenny might
It's
go to
nice that they expect to be better than they were.
I really thought that Kenny might take that BYU job. I'm glad he didn't, just because I love that guy. Navy outside Georgia Tech, Navy is my favorite team, but I just love that guy. So, but no academy should be that successful all the time. It's very impressive, coolest stuff ever. But yeah, the reason you go for 2 is because momentum is gone, and you still got a chance to win. Take it. Take it, especially with a team that's better than you are.
So, of the two of us, you're the first one to get to go to the new Mercedes-Benz, whatever the heck, arena.
Yeah.
What's the review of the greatest achievement in sports facility?
I have to explain. It's kind of like we talked about with the SunTrust, because Jared and I are very similar on this, man.
Yeah.
I don't care. This is from Dina. Me and Dina talked about it too, man. I don't care about activities for the kids. I don't care about food. I don't care about that. All I care about is what does the game look like when I'm sitting in the seats watching it.
Cool.
It's nice. It's a super cool stadium. The Halo board needs a little work. Only in this regard. It's a very simple thing.
Even from the blueprints of the thing and getting in a seat and the way it looks to be projected, it looks like you can't see it.
That's the way that it's.
How am I supposed to see the score?
No, that's the way it's rendered, because the way it's rendered, it's like one continuous picture, and that's not how they do it at all. It's basically just like individual TV screens that just go in a circle. But if you're looking up, like where I was in the top of the building, and that's okay. Again, the game's fun. Now you got to stand up, because in that bottom corner of the end zone you can't see nothing. But that's okay, because that's little. That's one little part of the field. But when you're looking at the little board, it's basically, again, just quadranted, and you get 4 sections, and that's how it works. And then when it goes to smaller stuff, it either goes to 2s or to 3s. The 3s are the problem, because when it's 2 images, because, of course, every other one's got to be an ad. And I get it. They just open the place. I get it. You're going to advertise some stuff. Yeah. But what happens is...
Sell some chicken wings and beer.
Yeah, for real, man. But if you... that's the other thing too, man. Unlimited drink refills. Again, I don't care about that. I'm very glad that the prices.
That's nice.
I'm glad the prices are so cheap. That's awesome for people. I don't eat at events, but a lot of people do. So good for them. That's a cool thing that Arthur did there. So that part's awesome. But again, that kind of stuff, I can't go nuts about that kind of stuff because I just don't really care. We'll get to more of that stuff. It's cool. I mean, it looks fantastic. It's a beautiful stadium, but it's brand new. It should be. And that sounds harsh, but it's true. Any hoodles. The thing about the Halo board is if they give you 2 bits of information, you're fine. So when they get to 3, that it messes you up. And by 3, I mean they kept doing these comparisons, like between it was Ricky June's a receiver for Tech, and I do not remember the name of the kid from Tennessee, which stinks. He wore number 5, had a real good game, made 1 fantastic play. But basically the way it's displayed is, here's Ricky June's numbers right here. I'll put on the screen. Here's Ricky June right here. Here's whatever your advertisement is, peaches or peanuts or whatever you're selling.
Jackaroo sauce.
Yeah, seriously. And then here's the cat from Tennessee. And the problem is if you're up in the roof, it's like the way it's spaced out, you're not going to get one of them. Like you can see the Tennessee kid, and boy, you can sure see the 2 advertisements, but you can't see the Tech guy. And it's a very simple fix. All they got to do is, instead of going, this is it, like let's say that you got 3 images. You got A, B, and C.
Roll them,
You could do that. I think people might lose their minds, and that's another thing we'll get to in a minute. Boy, I was telling Jared, it is literally Entertainment 720 Stadium. I mean, it is, dude, it is Transformers 2 the stadium, because it is like lights and explosions and fireworks and lights and lights. I mean, it's everywhere. So if they actually moved the Halo board, people really would have seizures.
Okay, maybe that's a bad idea.
Yeah, all you got to do is if your images are A and B and C, let's say that A is your advertisement. The problem is, all you do is ABC. There's three of them, there's three of them, there's three of them, there's three of them. You can see all that stuff. The problem is that instead of doing ABC, if A is the ad, it's A, B, A, C, A, B. So every other one is an ad. So you get that. You can sure see that. But that's it. That was the only thing about that. And that was like worst seat that you could have. And you can still see it. It's just like, all right, that's cool, man. The other thing, and this is something, this is a made-for-TV feature. And we talked about it after the game because I was asking my friends, understand that where I was sitting was in one of the end zones. I don't know the dimension or the directions in that new stadium. And the Tennessee band was down here in this end zone in the corner. And the Tennessee band's famous for playing Rocky Top 9,000 times every game. So I asked my friends, how many times
you want them to or not?
How many times y'all hear Rocky Top? Like, we couldn't hear nothing. And I'm like, yeah, we were sitting on top of the band and we couldn't either. And that's the thing about that stadium, is that it is not. This is for SEC championship and playoff people. If you want the college atmosphere of having your marching band, you will hate that building. But here's why. There's a reason for it, and I noticed it today during the United game because that was my theory. I told my buds, and then I watched the United game. I was like, yep, that's what they did. They basically Ben Hill Griffined it, where when the sound goes up, it hits and comes right back down. So as far as being in there and hearing the music and whatnot, it's getting shot back down before you can even hear it. Now, maybe down low, it probably sounds great down low, but you can't hear it up top. But today during the United game, and they start doing the hand clap ATL thing, and I mean, it was horrible. It sounded like a movie special effect. It had the echo on it was so impressive. I'm like, yep, that's what they were trying to do, all right. And it's great for if you're at home watching it on TV. It's just that basically it's just because the NFL, it doesn't matter. They don't have marching bands in the NFL.
They'll say the Falcons piped it in anyway.
Oh, probably so. Probably so, because it sounds fake. I mean, it sounded great, man. But
Peyton Manning can have steroids sent to his house, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not bitter about it.
Nah, hey, we do it all the time. That's one of my favorite things was about the freaking Red Sox using their Apple phone to steal signs from the Yankees. And the thing that I love about it, man, is who is it, Dombrowski or Duquette, whatever that guy's name is.
I do it on my Dunkin' Donuts app.
He can literally go to the press conference and be like, hey, who doesn't? Who doesn't? And because it's the Red Sox, everyone's like, yeah, he's right. Everybody does that. And my favorite thing was somebody like, no way, a team from New England using technology? Because I have always thought Deflategate was a huge, funny joke. But, it was just, trying to get Tom Brady, trying to smear Tom Brady. All right. I still need you to explain Spygate away. Because that one was real and that one was video. But that's okay. It's okay for them. It's okay for them. Don't have the Saints have a little crew of defensive guys pay each other to go hit guys. Yeah. And for God's sake, don't have any crowd noise piped in. But Tommy Brady having advanced video, that's totally okay. All right.
That one was against the rules. They did their time.
Did they? They lost a draft pick. No wins, no vacated wins, no vacated championships, nothing. They lost one draft pick. Atlanta got hit harder for fake crowd noise. Yeah. The New England got hit for stealing video of other teams, man, because it's New England. Oh, no, they're the bad boys. They're the bad. We were talking about this earlier, man. I love that Vince McMahon has literally written the narrative for the NFL because Goodell is Mr. McMahon, and people really believe it. Dude, I swear to God, like Mike and Tony get fired up over it. For Pete's sake, Jamel and Michael Smith, they get fired. Oh, man, I can't wait to see Roger Goodell get put in his place. I'm like, I can't believe y'all believe this. I cannot believe that you guys actually believe this is real.
It's a freaking work to get rich in Las Vegas.
It's the truth. I was very happy to hear that, by the way, because that sounds real familiar. But, yeah, it's like, nah, man, all that stuff is fun. And the stadium's cool. Again, all they got to fix is the screen, the little halo thing doesn't need a fix. It's just a real simple flip, and it'll be fine. And it is like the sensory overload is a little bit too much. I mean, honest to God, it is like John Cena and Santa Claus on Ritalin on Christmas morning shooting fireworks up your butt. It is like.
Are they going to have a net to catch the kid that falls out of the upper deck?
I hope so.
When he's like seasoned.
I hope so, because they need it, especially like if you're sitting with like the window. Because the little window to the city was here, and all that stuff is cool. But there's this one like little banner thing that hangs right there, and I mean, man, it was like clipping me all night. Like, good Lord, I'm gonna be freaking out here in a second, man. But the stadium is very cool. It's fun to watch a game there. Again, the sound is weird, but it's I think most stadiums are made for TV in that regard, so it's totally okay. And again, that only affects the college football stuff. That's really not that big of a deal, and it's great for soccer because I watched that this afternoon, and brother, it worked for that.
Cool. That might be the first thing I go see in that stadium. There's probably won't happen this year. Unless the rumors are true about a big show coming next, not this April, but the next. But it's going to live pro football. It's never been into doing that.
I have been to. I thought of this the other day.
I think I've been to some preseason stuff, but never an actual Falcons game during the season.
I think I've been to 3 Falcons games in my life.
Cool.
One, I saw the Seattle Seahawks when. This is funny though. Well, the Seahawks haven't had fans till 3 years ago. Bitch, Brian Bosworth was playing in that game, and they were at Fulton County Stadium. I still got the ticket. I can prove it. That was a preseason game.
When they played at Fulton County, that was kind of interesting to go see.
It was like, all right, this is cool. Yeah, I'm hoping that will help because the dome stunk. That was just a terrible venue. I saw a Peach Ball there one time. Excellent game. But even with the good seats, it wasn't good. Man, so I'm glad they got a new building. It's very cool. They got to fix the seat numbers, though. We were talking about this, man.
Oh, Lord.
All the seat numbers fell out.
How can that happen?
I don't know, but it's just this weird little cheap piece of plastic that goes in the bottom of the seat, and when you sit down, it flies out. And I'm like, man, got to get that fixed. Then again, these are like quick fix things, nothing to it. I think it's just having to jam the thing together. And this is what happens when you get obsessed over making sure the roof opens when you're not even going to open the damn thing. And so you don't check other stuff. Like, got to get these seats right, baby.
Sitting up in that section were those the seats that they usually don't use?
No,
or don't plan on using.
No, that's only. I wasn't there for soccer. I was there for college football.
Yeah,
everything was getting used.
I was wondering, like, is that one thing we forgot to go Sharpie those numbers in?
No, the numbers were literally a little piece of plastic that fell off of the seat.
Well,
all the Alabama and Florida State fans broke them.
Oh my gosh!
And it's cool. But yeah, they are upstairs. They are the part of the stadium that they weren't going to use for soccer, but apparently they are next week.
I don't know about that, brother.
Yeah, they'll sell them. I mean, it's a great idea. I think it's awesome. I'm just surprised it's happening this soon, but good for them. That's going to be
a good sign. I think it's a good sign.
Oh, they've broken everything else. Poor Seattle. They've got Seattle's record for average attendance per game. Now they're going for the league record for biggest attendance, in the single game. And it is cool. I mean, the idea of, we talked about it earlier, man, you can't do it all the time, but every once in a while it's a great idea. I think it's cool.
Yep.
I just figured it was something they would do eventually. I did not bank on them doing it in the second game ever. Or I think it's the fourth one. That might be wrong. I should have that schedule memorized by now, but I think it's when Orlando's coming to town. It's pretty soon, but it's cool, and it photographs pretty well. Not great, but pretty well. Now that's something I do think about. SunTrust photographs very well. SunTrust is pretty on TV. Well, the outfield air conditioner things drive me crazy, but that's it. Everything else is cool. But the new Nest looks good on TV. Very cool. Sounded good. The people sounded great today. And they played awesome today, so that was cool. But it's one of those cool things when you basically have the thing with United is it's all offense and it's all speed, and you take a speed team and put them on turf. I mean, they looked good today, man. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
And the people were happy, so good for the people.
Yep.
Today worked out great, man, because I got up and I put the Falcons on. I didn't watch the Falcons straight away. What I did was I taped the Tech-Jacksonville State game, and I did go. That's where all this little bullcrap sunshine came from.
Mm-hmm.
I went, and that was cool, but they were on TV, and West Durham got to do the call, so it's neat to hear West call a Tech game. So, of course, and anytime Tech's on TV, whether I'm going or not, I tape it and watch again anyway. So I woke up and watched the Tech game because I'm a dork, and then turned the Falcons on, and I was like, okay, well, I'll watch this until United gets started. It'll be okay. And then it occurred to me, great idea. Like, well, you know what? This Falcons game is pretty close. Here's what you do. Go to the United game and tape it. And that way you can watch the rest of the Falcons, and then you can zip through halftime. Mm-hmm. And it worked out great. I didn't get to zip through halftime because freaking FS1's pregame is so darn long. That's one thing. If you're a soccer fan and you're setting your DVR on FS1, Give it an extra hour, because instead of just good old traditional soccer of like, by God, it's coming on at 2:30 and it's going to be over in 2 hours, it'll be done. Their pregame stuff runs on forever. So just give yourself an hour, and that way you'll get the whole thing. I've lost 2 games this year because I'm an idiot. Once wasn't enough. I had to have it happen to me again, but I'm good now.
You think they would just advertise it that way on the or whatever the TV guide thing is?
Pregame. Game, absolutely, yeah. You with the little, Fox NFL pregame, it's right there.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's, I don't know. I think you're right. It's like whatever, but at least I know.
How hard would that be?
Yeah, not that difficult, I wouldn't think, man. But it's like, y'all, don't be ridiculous. Because if you break it into 2 things and people tune over, you get twice the ratings, brother. Why do you seriously? I mean, I get why the networks do it for the NFL because they're not all going to the same games. I get it, but yeah, it's like. I'll stink, or at least a lot for it. At least put it on the back end, but it's all good. I got it now, and it's okay. And they were awful fun to watch. My man Greg Garza scored today. That's my favorite player. The first time I went, I saw this kid. He's a left back, which is my favorite thing. It's a Maldini thing. He wears number 4, which is a Lou Gehrig thing. I can't believe he bagged him a goal today. He's a freaking left back. Those guys never score, but by God, he did today. Sweet, man.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, I used the Falcons to get me through halftime. And it was cool. It was nice to watch the end of that, and I'm happy they won. I'm not a huge Falcons guy, but I do like it for the city when they win.
Heck yeah. It's going to get a lot harder next week.
Hit the Pack next week, don't they?
Heck yeah.
Are they at home?
Yep.
I think Atlanta will be okay, only because I don't like to say it. Because I like the Packers. I like Aaron Rodgers because he's just awesome. But their defense is always so suspect. So it's like being at home and the defense being a little bit weak. I mean, I don't think anyone
about playing certain teams just always seems to make you nervous.
I can dig it. Yeah, the Pack's one of them. That's a good team, man. Pittsburgh's the one that always scares the hell out of me because you can't score any points on them. Yeah. But thank goodness we don't play them as often. But yeah, I think. Going to Green Bay, I'd be nervous as crap, but I don't know. It is a different story. I don't think there are as many. I don't think there are very many teams the Falcons can't outscore. That sounds ridiculous, but they're pretty good. But the defense is what's been. We talked about this earlier, man. That's what's been exciting about state of Georgia football.
Talk about going to people's houses and winning games that were kind of iffy.
State of Georgia football. It's so exciting, man, because that was the thing I was very happy about with Tech in the Tennessee game and the Jacksonville State game. Because the Jacksonville State game, just real quick, is the complete opposite. Yeah. The Tech-Tennessee game is, man, Georgia Tech just dominated the stat sheet. Man, they should have won that game and they lost it. What stat did Tennessee dominate? Tennessee dominated one statistic in that game. You know what it was? Points off turnovers. The most important statistic there is, man, because every mistake we made, Tennessee capitalized on it. Good teams do that. Teams that do that win ball games.
You'll win a lot.
Absolutely, man. Teams that I was talking to people after the game after that, and the guys like, I don't know about this year, and I'm like, look, it's never too early to realize that you don't sweat because Tech was up that whole game. Yeah. It's never too early to learn that you can rally, and by God, it's never too early to cash in turnovers.
They're playing a good ass team.
Yeah, that is the thing. I mean, like Tennessee fans were like disappointed, and I'm like, you guys, you did better than you think you did. Stats don't mean nothing, man. Yeah. But that's my favorite stat is points off turnovers, and it happened again yesterday because we never got the running game going. Had a bit of a rough time, but the defense caused 3 turnovers. Tech got 20 points off of them, won by 27. Yeah. So it's like, boom, that's a perfect example of just flipping that coin over, man. Yeah. So anyway, I got back on Tech. Sorry about that. Don't know what I was going to say. Tied in somehow.
Going to Notre Dame. And winning.
The defenses.
Yeah.
Tech's defense I was very proud of on Saturday. The Falcons' defense today, very, very cool. We all knew they were going to get better. It's nice they got better. You go to South Bend, Indiana, and give up 19 points. I don't care which Jacob you got taking snap. I don't care. I really don't care about the quarterback situation at Georgia anyway, and here's why. I am a huge fan. Because being a Tech guy, I'm not supposed to say this stuff, but
we've been waiting for a quarterback to come through that door for several seasons now.
The strangest thing about that is that as far as just pure skill, staff's untouchable. Staff just has a weird head.
Yeah.
Murray had a great head. It's just that the problem with Aaron Murray was at Alabama. I mean, in the Alabama era, who else wins anything?
Yeah.
Tim Tebow. That was you're wrong. You got your timeline wrong, man.
That was before.
Yes, it was. You got your timeline incorrect. That's when Nick was moonlighting with the Dolphins and getting that huge paycheck. That was like, well, maybe I'll go to Tuscaloosa for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, it's like
He's down there
the quarterback thing.
getting gas.
It's what he's doing. The quarterback thing at Georgia is, I get it. I mean, I understand. My brother and I had this conversation about like the prestige of the heavyweight championship of the world, and I'm like, yeah, that's the reason that we try to make basketball and football individual sports. We try to pretend that Michael and Tom's rings are championship belts. They're not.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. But the thing about the quarterback at Georgia is, who cares? You want to know why? Because the O-line's pretty good, and the tailbacks are damn good, and now the defense is playing well, too. You go on the road and give up 19 points. I don't care who it's against. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But when you consider it's in South Bend, that's a good win, man. I hate when people get good wins and don't get credit for it, man. And actually, Georgia's got 2 good wins this year because Appalachian State is one of those pain-in-the-butt Sun Belt teams.
They get somebody every year.
The Sun Belt. It's a way better conference than people think, man. They are just a hemorrhoid of a team. So that was good. Both their wins are
That ain't the whack.
yeah.
Yeah,
who does the whack, Cab? About the only team in the whack is Fresno, and Alabama did pretty good against them. But yeah, man, I think that I'm pretty sure that Boise's Mountain West, aren't they? It's funny too that nobody talks about Boise anymore. All they do is win. They just keep rolling and keep rolling and keep rolling. I wish they would. I wish the Pac-12 would get them in. I wish the Pac-12 would get Boise and BYU. Now, I have run that by some people on the West Coast, and they have made it very clear that BYU will never get in the Pac-12, mainly because of Utah.
Okay.
And I get it, but still, I would love it if they would. I've got conference expansion for everybody. I've got teams that I want to join every single conference.
And rivalry game becomes also a conference game. It's like, man, come on.
Yeah, you're right. It never has been because BYU was – I don't think it ever has been because BYU was independent for a long time. Then they were – gosh almighty, I don't remember what conference they were in. Anyhow, but yeah, it's like that's a big no-no. Ooh, okay. But that's what I wish they would do. I really wish they would do that. And I wish the Southeastern Conference would get Texas and Oklahoma. I wish the Big 12 would fold. I wish that the ACC would take West Virginia, but I don't think they will. I wish we would, but I just don't think we will. I don't think the Big 10 is going to add anybody. The Big Ten's going to add the Pac-12, and they're going to run off and leave anyway. But they want Texas. They just don't want Oklahoma. Now they really don't want Oklahoma, do they? They're talking all that mess about why you don't want Oklahoma in the Big Ten. Ask an Ohio State fan now why you don't want Oklahoma in the damn Big Ten. I love it, man. That was awesome. Yeah. And it's weird. I've got family that are Columbus grads. I love that place. I've got so many good memories of hanging out on High Street in Columbus. I love that school, and I used to really love that team. Let me take that back. I love Jim Tressel. I enjoyed John Cooper. I loved Jim Tressel, but I've hated Urban Meyer going back to Bowling Green. That's saying something because the MAC doesn't have a team I don't like. But Urban, I just didn't care for him. Then he went to Utah, and I just didn't care for him. Then he went to Florida, and I didn't care for him. And now he's at Ohio State, and it's kind of like...
sleazy looking.
He really, he's... Urban's... All I can figure is Urban knows where the bodies are buried because there's no way that guy would get away with the stuff he gets away with. ESPN can't wait to dime on him, but he stockpiled dirt on you. He stockpiled dirt. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier. What's ESPN's culpability in Joe Paterno or Jerry Sandusky? What do you guys know about SEC recruiting you won't talk about? You'll talk about Ole Miss, and you darn sure talked about Baylor. But there's a particular school in the old Southeastern Conference that got nabbed for the exact same thing. That Baylor is oh my God, with one huge, I said exact, I was wrong, there's one huge difference. At Baylor, they were call girls. At unnamed SEC school, they were sorority pledges who really didn't have to say yes in order to get roped into showing the recruits a good time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's messed up. So that's all I can figure is Urban's got to have that stuff filed away somewhere and be like, oh, you can't dime on there, guys. Anyhow, I'm very happy that Oklahoma kicked the crap out of them. That was fun. I enjoyed that. A lot of good games I watched on Saturday, but that one I kept bouncing back and forth over to because USC Stanford was my prime time thing, but I bounced a little bit. It's quite a bit of fun.
Cool.
It's always nice, but especially when you're that arrogant. And I hate to be that way because that's the problem with the ACC in West Virginia. Is, well, I don't know if the academic standards are up to snuff at West Virginia. Really? We got Florida State. We took Florida State, no problem. We got a problem with West Virginia. Get out of here. I wish West Virginia would join. I also want UConn to join, but that's more of a basketball thing. But I want the ACC to go to 20 teams in basketball and bring in, like, the Catholic Six. I want at least 4 of them. I want Georgetown, and I want Villanova, and I want St. John's, and Georgetown.
Super conference.
Georgetown. Yeah, that's what I want. I want baby NBA.
Yeah,
I have said for years the ACC should focus on basketball, which they did. It's why they got Syracuse. That's my other big barb to Big Ten country. Wow, the Big Ten wants Syracuse. Syracuse should join the Big Ten. Like, baby, if Syracuse leaves the Big East, they're joining the ACC. Football's where the money is. Baby, North Carolina at the Carrier Dome is where the money is. And where'd they join? So that's what I want. I would love to have 20 in the basketball conference, and that's all. And, oh, man, can you imagine? Just to get Georgetown and Syracuse back. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
I wish we could have Maryland back, too, because Georgetown, Maryland would be cool. Maryland made their decision. It's fine.
That's all right. Talk about that later.
Yeah, it bummed me out. I like Maryland. I miss them. I really do, man. I do like them going up and winning the Big Ten. I think it was their second year in the conference, and they win the basketball championship. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Maybe that paves the way for Georgetown to join, because, by God, they'd vote against that in a second. Who else needs to join? I guess the Big Ten. I guess I need to. Nah, they don't need to add anybody. They're going away anyway. But I do like the idea of the only thing I got to figure out is who gets shifted to the East, because Auburn. Everybody keeps trying to put Auburn in the East, and that's okay. But I don't know who else to. I don't know who else to pluck and put in. I guess it would have to be. Almost have to be Alabama.
Yeah.
You got to fight that though, because you can't. I mean, you just can't have Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee all in the same division. So I get it. It's cool. We can work that out once it happens.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one.
Yeah, man. You already got Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, and then you'll be adding Auburn to it, and then your West would be Alabama and LSU and Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, it's cool. It's fun to talk about. Like, oh my God, that'd be amazing, man.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, that's a bunch of football stuff. I apologize for not talking more about other things, but there was something something I wanted to discuss. I just don't remember what it was now.
One of the, I guess, I would call it a big story, but one of the things that's happened since we sat down and talked last was JBL quit.
Yeah, Morrow was bullying him, I think.
That's exactly right. I think that's what happened. One of the things I think that they dropped the ball on is they put Corey Graves on SmackDown. So essentially he's going to be on Raw and SmackDown. I thought this was an opportunity to give that job to Renee. And I think was something that they kind of, maybe they'll fix. Maybe they'll take Corey off of Raw until maybe probably put JR back out there for a little while. But because something about it, I like Corey being on SmackDown better anyway. But I just thought that was an opportunity to give a job to Renee. And I think that's something that they might regret later.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind lady play-by-play. They've never done it before.
Yeah.
Not for any extended period of time. That would be awesome. It'd be a cool gig. Better than, I don't know, Renee's way better than just backstage gopher interview. So, yeah, I totally could see that. I think that's a cool idea.
I don't even know enough about what's coming up on the next pay-per-view to do a prediction. Did we ever give our opinions on the sexy star Rosemary thing that everybody's talked to death about?
Yeah, we can talk about it, man.
And I didn't watch it. All I know is what I've heard.
Me too.
It's everything that I've heard I haven't liked. So it's kind of been talked to the point where it's like, what's there left to say? But it's just stupid that that happened.
I guess the only thing I can add, because I'm still waiting for someone to put this part out there, because the fun thing now is it's a work, guys. She's working the boys. She's working the biz. It's a world. Oh my God, are these people getting so upset? And she's totally working them. Then she worked her way out of a job, one way or the other. If she's straight shot on the girl, no one's going to work with her.
Yeah.
If it's a work and she's made everybody look this bad, they're not going to book her either. You see what I'm saying?
What do you stand to win
Exactly.
with doing that?
Exactly. The only person in the business that can get away with that is Vince because he owns the business. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool if you like. Is that I know that's like the number one thing in the world. Anytime anybody cares about anything, you must make fun of them. Oh my God, this is not serious. It's like,
To work this would be trying to sell it as an accident.
dude, it's
It
just
did-
like
it did- I didn't mean for that to happen.
It's
That
meant
would be the word.
one way or the other. It's like, look, you're out of a job now, so that's that because make people look bad. You can't treat
You hurt somebody who basically is laying there on a mat, and all they can think is, if I get up and kill this chick, I'm going to Mexican jail. At the last place a person that looks like me would want to be. So yeah, I don't. It's just crazy.
Yeah, trying to pretend the boys are marks is still going to get you no bookings. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. Oh man, it's not real. It doesn't matter if it's not real. The fallout's real. She ain't working no more.
Yeah,
That's that story.
that's for good reason.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like okay.
That's that.
I do love the high life. Good Lord, that's nice.
It's
And this guy works like
tasty.
a charm, Dina. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Heck
That was
yeah.
cool. We got to do our Sunbelt plug. I was happy about that.
Heck yeah, man.
There's something else. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I don't even remember the girls' names. I'm sorry to say because I don't follow Lucha Underground, so I just don't. I just don't know them.
I haven't
But
seen it.
But yeah, that's the only thing I keep coming across with that thing is like whether it's real or not. It doesn't matter because the fallout is you've put yourself in a position. I mean, it's just snow in the locker room. That's the worst thing you could do.
Heck of a
That's
stuff.
yeah. The only thing you could do worse than going in the ring and hurting somebody is trying to get credit for it because you want to pull a fast one on the
I
boys.
think Irma's here, y'all.
Yeah, she's early.
Oh, gee, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing that happened this week is now we got to find somebody to save Global Force. 'Cause Jeff Jarrett was sent home. They don't know what to do.
I did read a hilarious tweet about that. Everybody knows it's coming. I knew it was coming. Everyone knows it's coming, but it's still funny because, of course, it's Jeff Jarrett sent home from Global Force Wrestling. So, of course, the highlighted tweet that I saw was, whose wife did he bang this time? It's like, that did not take long. You knew it wouldn't, but as soon as you see it, it's like,
Uh-oh.
oh, boy.
Well, you know.
That's right. J-double-F.
Man, that's just the writing's been on the wall for that place for 10 years now. It feels like, man. Just wouldn't it be best just for it just to be over?
I was telling the man, I finally watched an episode. I was
Yeah.
very excited because I was like, man, some wrestling. I need to see some wrestling, man. I'm going to set my tape, watch my timer.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. So I watched my DVR, and I told the man the only thing I needed to know was this: 2-hour wrestling show. 2 matches. That was it. It's just more
That's
of
not
the.
good.
It's just more of the wannabe Vince, watered down WWE. Let's have backstage segments and vignettes and talk, and then talk a little bit more about all the talking we just did. I'm like, yeah,
No, thank you.
I don't need that. If the guy that invented it doesn't do it in the way that I like it, why on earth am I going to watch your sorry, watered down Vince Russo ripoff of it? And Jim,
Yeah.
in case you're watching this, I do hate to say that because I realize you're back and Vince isn't there anymore, but it's still his stuff.
Yeah.
They're still doing his stuff and it still sucks.
Yeah.
Who did I see that was worth a darn? There was one person on there that was like, okay. But it's just like, I don't know. That's all I needed to know, man. It's like, because anymore I've gotten so spoiled with the stuff that I do watch because it's just like a wrestling program. By God, if they come out and talk, they're done in 5 minutes and then people are having matches.
Yeah.
I'm spoiled. It's the same thing I was complaining to the man about the advertisements during football games, man, because I watch soccer now, and it's like, oh, God, no, man, another commercial.
Yeah.
I don't need to know about this Hyundai. I'm spoiled. It's stupid. I need to just tape them and
I'm not
fast
gonna
forward.
buy that crap in the first place.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Screw a Hyundai.
For real. I need to Nissan. But they're the official vehicle of college football.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Still don't need one.
And so, I don't know if this was on the show this past Saturday. I'm pretty sure it had to have been because I saw the clip on YouTube. But I saw Cody Rhodes debut the actual Ring of Honor.
Yep, that was in Atlanta.
Yeah, I thought that was something interesting to happen.
It's funny when he was doing the Braves game and they brought the belt into the booth and they're passing it down. Chip Jerry's all like, "Wow, that's heavy." And Cody was telling a story about how ill-designed it was because he's like, every time I walk down the ramp, it tries to fall off, and I'm like, let's find a way around that. But yeah, it's
kind of clunky.
It's cool, man, because it's like the Ring of Honor belts, the tag belts are awesome. I love those, but the it's cool, but it's like, yeah, do something else. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Is like
it's kind of a neat way to personalize a ring for every new champion.
It's cool. It's a cool thing. It's a neat idea as far as like, rings are what people get when you win the Super Bowl. So why not? But I liked it. He's so good at what he does, man. Like, he comes out, and of course the kiss the ring chant goes up about 2 seconds after he makes the guy kiss the ring. And he's going around ringside. I think the first 2 people actually did it, and then the third, maybe it was the second, it was either a guy or I think it was a girl, like, turned him down. And he was just so good at playing it off. It's like, this guy is just... Because I'm a huge fan of thinking on your feet. Jared's had to listen to this for years, man. Because it started for me with Shawn Michaels. Yes, Shawn Michaels. Mr. Can't do anything wrong, Shawn Michaels. Yeah, he could. Problem with Michaels is he had to be booked to go over, or he didn't work as hard. But also, he was a brat. He'd be a brat if things weren't going his way. Watch the main event with Triple H and Benoit. When he starts getting booed, it really bothers him because he can't fathom
never get over that.
He can't fathom that they're pulling for Chris Benoit. John Cena's the same way. Cena really does not hold his stuff together well at all. It's one thing I appreciate that everybody's all like, "Oh, Cena's cool now. Roman Reigns sucks." Reigns is way better at that aspect of just like, Reigns is Naito, tranquilo. I always think, by God, remember Aaron Rodgers, the relax thing last year, which I loved just because the media melted. You can't tell your fans to relax. They're your fans and they pay your salary. Oh my God. It's like, and then what'd they do? Well, they win 13 games last year. But I always think of like, man, I need to send somebody needs to give Aaron Rodgers I notice I passed that off real quick because I'm not going to do it. I just said I should do it. And they're like, no, somebody should because I'm cheap. But I think that Tranquillo would be a fantastic slogan for Aaron Rodgers. Man, and Aaron should do this during the game. But nah, man, I hate when guys lose their cool and can't think on the fly. And he played it off well. It's like, man, this guy, he's good at what he's doing. And then the other cool thing about getting rid of the belt is that when you're the heel and the cool babyface people like beats you, it's like, this is crap. I don't play basketball. I don't play wrestling. I don't play football. I'm a wrestler, and this is what wrestlers. So you bring it back. It's American Badass. Yeah. It's cool. It's always good to get rid of stuff because then you can bring it back. You can redesign it. You can do whatever you want to. I kind of wish they'd go back to the old design, the Samoa Joe design, because I loved it. That belt was cool. The big blocky silver looking thing. Man, that was cool looking, dude. But yeah, I don't see what's wrong with that, especially for the the Ric Flair tailored look.
It looks better with a suit.
Absolutely, yeah, man, with the tailored champion. Yeah. Why the heck not, man? I think that's pretty cool. I think that Stone Cold should have had a 6-pack.
Oh, heck yeah.
Instead of the smoking skull. Triple H should have got his hammer made into it. Yeah. That'd have been okay. Dadgummit, I'll get that in a second. I don't know where it went.
It's gone forever.
But yeah, for real, it's lost. But yeah, the Ring of Honor was like, that's cool. Why not, brother? Do you think?
It's it's one of those kind of things like, now they're just thinking of doing that?
Yeah, for real. It's like, man, Bockwinkel could have got with that, especially when you got to travel with the darn thing.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, I think he might have a hard time selling the Bucks on it because they're all about the OG. But yeah,
it doesn't have to be for everybody.
Oh yeah, it's just him as far as I know. Yeah. It's just what he wants to do, and it's exactly what you were saying about customization. I think you're totally right, man. It's very cool. But yeah, I don't remember if that was this week or not. I told Jared I started the show today, and it was all like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this. Cool, I'll watch it later." And I didn't finish it because I had football. And
I know where this is going.
Yeah, I had football and soccer I had to watch today, so that was cool. I'm busy with United. Good God, their schedule is like about to blow up, but it's cool. I guess I'm not a real fan because I'm not trying to get tickets and go down there. But hey, they put them on television. I'll watch them on TV. I'm comfortable. I can be in my pajamas. I can fart. Nobody says nothing.
Oh, they love it.
It's all good, man. I probably should try to go to the Orlando game, see if I can help them set that record. But if I hadn't been to the stadium, maybe. But I've been. It's fine. They can do it without me.
I got other stuff to go see.
Yeah, man. But you know what? Maybe I should check that out. See what they're charging for them.
We don't know if we're gonna be here after Irma.
Yeah, for real. But if it's cheap, I might go if it's cheap. That sounds kind of cruddy, but why not?
That's part of the advantage of opening up seats. Is like, well, now they have to be filled.
That's what I was thinking.
Supply, demand, demand, supply.
Yeah, we were discussing that earlier, man, about why you do 42. I think that's smart. I wish the Braves would have built a 25,000 seat stadium. Make it meaningful. That stadium is way too big. You're never going to fill it up, because the only time baseball games sell out that aren't in San Francisco or Boston is the playoffs. And y'all ain't never making the playoffs until you move the fences back.
Yep.
I do think the team is going to get better, but you know.
It feels like we're in that Hawks period where a year or two ago when the Hawks were like, okay, this is as good as we're going to get now. So let's get rid of this.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of going through that right now. We've gotten as good as we could be. So we're gonna, trim some fat and work on that some more.
Yeah. The Braves make me nervous, just again because it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But I mean, again, I got family in Ohio. They're Reds fans. The Reds have been waiting for a winner, and the reason is because when they built that stadium, they built it for Junior and Dunn. They built it for left-handed power.
And long gone.
You can't sign. Well, yeah, it's just it doesn't. That's the thing. Don't build a stadium. We did it for Freddie. I mean, we did the exact same thing. They literally built that park for Freddie Freeman, but kind of a hard time signing pitchers in that stadium, and it's frustrating because you need to be able to do that. Because what is the most important thing in the game of baseball right now? It is not Mike Stanton's 54 home runs. It's none of that stuff. It's the bullpen. It sounds crazy, but it's true. It is absolutely true because starters barely get to the sixth anymore. Mm-hmm. Your bullpen is the thing. The bullpen is your pass rush. We talked about that earlier with the Patriots getting beat. Because all off season, they're going to go undefeated, and Tom Brady's back, so no one will ever beat him because Tom Brady. But every now and again, no matter how much rah-rah people got into over Brady, somebody would get to eventually talking about how the pass rush isn't that great, and their defense, what to see about the defense. Mm-hmm. If you got to see about the defense, that is not a Super Bowl favorite. Yeah, that's insane. Bullpen's the same way. It's not sexy and it's not fun like having front line pitching, which people don't even care about that for some reason. But I want big home run hitters. Great. Enjoy losing 85 games a year because if you can hit them out, so can everybody else. Mm-hmm. That's the Rockies. And that's not even their fault. That's a great stadium. It's just where it is contributes. But when you don't live in Colorado, when you go out of your way to match their home run numbers, that's just foolhardy.
You're peeing up a rope.
You're asking to stink for a hot minute. You're asking to suck for a good while. One of the reasons the Dodgers are doing okay right now is they got that huge ballpark, and it's like, man, let's not make it that easy for them. Mm-hmm. But the Dodgers are funny because they win 50 games out of 60. Nobody says a peep. Then they get on a losing streak, and the wheels are coming off. It's terrible. Would you rather do this now or when the playoffs start?
Yeah.
It's baseball. Everybody comes in and out. Nobody goes undefeated. It's not college football. Nobody goes undefeated. You win, you lose. I'd much rather get it out the system right now. If I'm a Dodger fan, I want them doing this now.
I wouldn't want to be where the Indians are at.
Yeah, it's freaky. It's very, very cool that they're playing so well, and God, I hope they make the playoff. But yeah, it's like
this has to turn sooner or later.
You're not going to carry this through November. You're right. Yeah, it's totally the thing. Like, oh shoot, happy for them because I do like Cleveland.
Oh no, it's like a game.
I love me some Tito, but I don't want them to. It's very weird to hate the Red Sox as much as I do, but I love Terry Francona. I do love that guy. And those Red Sox teams had some guys I really, really like. I used to like Millar, but I've watched that show too much now. He's a cartoon character, and I can't.
Tough to stomach.
Yeah, I can't put up with him now. That show is terrible. I'm like, yeah, of course, this is the one piece of MLB programming that ESPN decided to pick up. I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they can afford HR. Fired Harold Reynolds, and then he goes to the MLB network and winds up in heaven. That's the Mark Richt of sports broadcasting, where Rick gets fired and then winds up in the one job that he would have left that job for anyway, man. So that's great, man. But yeah, dude.
Him and Peter Gammons both.
Yeah, Pete's doing good. Charlie's doing good. Charlie Steiner doing the Dodger games is great. Gary Thorne doing the Orioles games is amazing. Every time I hear his voice, I'm like, man, I have missed that guy. That's just awesome, dude. I was trying to think the other day if I could handpick my baseball playoffs, who it would be, and It's pretty cool. It's looking pretty good. There's a lot of good teams involved, including the Red Sox. Despise them though I do. I don't mind when they're good. I just don't like, them and Dallas and the Lakers, the teams that are going to get talked about all the time. At least when they're good, there's something to talk about. So it's okay. It's totally okay. Speaking of which, I'm taping the Giants and the Cowboys right now, man. I'm going to go home and watch that.
Cool.
Go home and get me another cold beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird because I just had a lot of fun on Saturday, man, just bouncing back and forth. Went to the game, then came home and watched Pittsburgh and Penn State, which was a lot of fun. Because Pittsburgh is one of the old Big East teams that I like, and now they're in the ACC, and I love that. Penn State, they don't play each other all the time. Penn State, and of course, I told Jared, it's very easy to say this now because of the Oklahoma game. But all the fireworks for Ohio State, Penn State, I think, is the big team to watch and the big team. Most people a lot of people are saying that. And now everyone will be saying it because they're the big one left. But they're pretty good. That team can play. The teams I've seen this year that can really go, USC is very good. Penn State is quite good. Alabama I have not seen play. I just always assume they can go because Nick Saban, despite ESPN's best efforts to turn me off, he really is that good. He's not Tebow. Tebow was a media creation. Nick Saban's really not. He is a very, very, very good football coach. Man knows what he's doing. He gets a little bit old, but that ain't his fault. He can't help that he's good.
Yeah.
Got his Dale Earnhardt. Damn, I'm good. Dale Earnhardt and Ole Anderson.
Yeah. Check me out.
That's right. I'm awesome.
Man, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. That's how we do. An hour. Fantastic.
We came in.
Yeah, that's it, man. And we worked out good because Irma didn't get us.
Oh, I thought we were going to make it.
For real.
Y'all be cool.
Take it easy, y'all.
All right. Bye.